Benjamin Franklin once said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." Education is something that everyone has experienced at some point in their life. And as our world progresses, getting a good education is becoming ever more important. The current problem that people are facing across the country is our flawed education system. Standardized testing has developed a system where the teachers are tested more than the students. A lack of industry certification and vocational training programs in high schools is making it difficult for those not pursuing a college education. Also, many students aren't properly prepared for college and the challenge it brings, especially the extreme difficulty of college level courses and work. These are just a few among the many problems that plague our education system and its students, holding many children back from the success they could achieve. We as Americans should do everything we can to push for a reform in our education system. Making a change in our education system not only makes an impact now, but if we work toward better education, we can create a better future for generations of Americans to come. Education reform is so important to me because my mom is a teacher and I wish to become a teacher in the future. One of the first things we should move to do to bring about education reform is change the current standardized testing system. Standardized testing creates more problems than it solves within our education system. The original purpose of testing is to ensure that students are learning the curriculum they are being taught. However, this testing has become a test to make sure teachers are doing their job rather than confirming that students are learning the material. Setting standards for learning in each course severely restricts how teachers cover curriculum and what teachers can cover within a given class. This means that in many cases students don't receive all the information they can learn in a subject. This holds back students who could be learning much more curriculum in a class just to make sure that everyone can take this test. Also, many teachers simply teach the students how to pass the test rather than teaching students the material that they should know at the end of the class. Without education reform, many students and teachers will continue to be restricted by the chains of standardized testing. Another important factor that emphasizes our nation's need for education reform is the lack of vocational education and industry certification programs in many schools. Industry certifications give students advanced training and certificates that can help them get a job after high school. These certifications can set children on the right track for success, and they can help them find a field that they would be interested in pursuing a career in. Vocational education programs provide students with the opportunity to get hands-on training as opposed to the normal classroom setting. Classes like these provide real-world experiences for students to train them for situations they might see in their future careers. These classes also offer learning opportunities to those students who may struggle in classes where academics are involved, providing them with activities that don't just include tests and quizzes. We should make creating more of these courses available to students a priority. More children prepared for the workforce means more graduating students go straight into their careers. This means a lower unemployment rate and a growth in the American economy. The sooner we make these changes, the sooner we can not only get education back on track, but also our economy back on the right path. Finally, I believe we should provide more classes that serve the purpose of preparing students for college. Many students have not been prepared for college when they graduate high school and aren't prepared for challenges they may face in the future. The ACT claims that only 25% of high school students today are ready to handle college-level work. That means that 3 in every 4 people will have a much more difficult time succeeding in college environment. If children were better prepared for college before leaving high school, a far greater number of students would not only attend college, but also have a greater chance of graduating and entering the workforce. Adding a few small classes could have one of the largest impacts on education reform. On the contrary, many people believe that education is unimportant and we need not reform the process. Many would argue that there are more important things government funds can go into, such as the economy or our infrastructure. However, I believe there is nothing more important than education because it sets the standard for the future. Without education, the future of the American economy would not exist. Even still, many others would argue that education is fine the way it is. There is still much room for improvement in education, though, because as of 2014, the nationwide graduation rate was still at only 82%. Given this, it is obvious that education reform could never be more important than it is now. To sum it all up, we as Americans should make education reform a priority. Education is important to ensure the future success of America and to ensure future generations have a brighter day to live in. We should develop a new replacement for standardized testing, add more industry certification and vocational education programs in schools, and begin more classes that help to prepare students for college. Making a difference for education will not only make America smarter and more competitive with other countries, but help America to grow its economy and return to its status as a world power. So, go out today and find out what you can do to help your community get on the right track toward education reform and a great education system.